You come from the village, like deep in the village. You are true. You're one of the true definitions of everybody can make it. Is that an accurate statement?
Exactly. It's an accurate statement.
What's the difference between you and a guy you grew up with who didn't take the steps that you took? What's the difference?
Taking risk.
And what's the possibility of everybody making it?
See, it doesn't matter where you're born, but having the courage to take risk is everything. How many of us are willing to take the risk that I took? Even coming back to Ghana as an engineer, leaving China was a risk. Coming to do YouTube videos, traveling from one African country to another, you could be in the plane and the following day the plane crash. That's a risk. But so many of us are scared of taking risk. You take risk, have a plan, work towards the plan, and trust me, you're going to make it. Okay. There's no secret anyway. If somebody asks me, what's your secret? I'm just telling you, I just took risk, had a plan, and at the end of the day, I worked towards my plan. Okay. That's it.
If there's anything our audience members would take from this conversation is, viewing you now, if you can be classified as a millionaire now, right? Most people are not on that level. So the level would be, where can I start from zero? Do you remember yourself starting from zero? What advice would you have for someone starting from nothing? You can take risk, but you're taking risk with nothing.
See, I took risk from nothing. My story, to me, I hate to even talk about my story, but I started from nothing. Do you get it? Born and raised in the village. From the village, I told my dad, I'm not going to go to school in Ghana. My dad gave up on me, like, hey, I mean, whether you like it or not, you're going to school in Ghana. And I told my dad, I don't think I can make it in Ghana, so I want to leave. You see?
Step by step.
Step by step, yeah.
So the first step is tell your dad you're not going to school in the village.
Exactly. I'm not going to school there.
Okay.
I want to leave. My dad sees my passport.
You got yourself a passport?
Yeah, I got myself a passport. I had an uncle that I was talking to every day that, hey, I want to get out of here. To the extent that when I got my visa to China, my dad slept on my passport for 3 months.
To bless it?
No. Not to allow you to travel.
Ah, okay.
Because you have to study in Ghana. That's when, at the end of the day, courage comes in. Now, I go to my dad, tell my dad, my uncle has decided to pay for the ticket. And my dad is like, if your uncle paid for the ticket, who's going to pay for your fees? I'm like, I want to go. I left Ghana on 31st December because my visa expires in January. That's when my dad gave me my passport. Now you can go. My uncle bought me my ticket. I went to China 3 months without going to school because I didn't have money to pay school fees. So I graduated in January instead of graduating in September. That 3 months, I was just in my room doing nothing because at the end of the day, I don't have school fees. I don't have money to pay the accommodation. Then I went down again to the administration and I told them, I'm here and I'm here to stay. And they started telling me what I can do to make myself money. I lived in China for 6 years. The 4 years living in China, I paid my own school fees.
You found a way.
I paid my own school fees. That's what I'm saying. Everything is around us, but it takes a courage person, take the risk, go have a plan, and make the plan work. I was a lecturer in my university. How did I become a lecturer in my own university? I used to sell burgers. I have videos. Everything that I'm talking about, if you check my old videos, you'll find it. I was selling burgers in China. Like burger. How do you call it? Hambao. Oh, I'm speaking Chinese, man.
Wait.
I said, you know, hambao, hamburgers. You know.
Yes. Oh. Yeah, please say that. Please say that, because you know, I have this thing in my head that we have people who sell burgers from Tanzania in Kenya. Like it's a business. Have you seen burgers on the street?
Oh, okay.
So I thought you carried a consignment with you to China. No,
I was selling hamburgers. I was selling hot dogs. I used to
China?
In China, yeah.
Hot dogs in China?
Hot dogs in China, yeah. And we're told to say
they are the same, as in hot dog in China is the same as hot dog?
Yeah. Same.
Okay.
It's the same. And I was teaching in China, and one of my biggest breakthrough, I don't know if you see those banners, people say, study abroad. You see those banners?
Yes, yes.
So I used to do that in China. And with that alone, your school fees, the school has to give me 5% anytime you pay your school fees.
School gives you 5%.
So let's say I bring someone from Kenya to study in China. So I had Facebook. I just go and post, who wants to study in China? Come to China. I'm going to help you get your visa and all of that.
Yes.
Now, when you apply, I'm going to apply for you. Then you get the admission. When you get admission and you come to China, any time that you pay your school fees, the school gives me 5%.
Of your school fees?
Of your school fees.
Ah.
And at the end of the day, I think I had 6 students.
Okay.
And that was good money.
That was good money?
Yep.
5% of their whole fees?
Every year. Yearly.
And that business still there?
It's still there. And people don't talk about it. I mean, I've seen people telling you study in China. That's the main business. That's where they get their money from.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, do you see where the problem is? Do you see where the problem is? Our uncles. You know, our uncles, we've always accepted the idea of you give your uncles your CV, they'll get back to you. Forever, they wait until you become that uncle. So, do you see any other platform for a breakthrough for you minus that uncle in your family? I'm trying to look at how to identify an opportunity that can take you out, right? Was there any other formula that you can play away from getting to China through your uncle?
There was no other formula because my uncle was the only person that I could pass through to get to China. Because at that time, he had
the means.
Yep. So he was the only option. And he only paid for the flight ticket. That's like going to China, and that's it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, I mean, when I was in China, I did a lot of research. I don't know. That's what, see, I always tell people, yeah, if you really want to make it, you're going to make it. You just have to check your surroundings. You know, people look elsewhere trying to make it, but what can make them is around them. I mean, when I went to China, I realized that I had 24/7 internet.
Okay.
24/7 internet, of which when I was living in the village, we need to go to the internet cafe, pay 1 Ghana cedi to use the internet. But when I went to China, my room, the campus, our classrooms, everything, we had internet. And
Yes.
that's when YouTube came into existence for me. So I was looking at, okay, I love talking. I mean, I love talking, man.
Yes, yes.
Who's going to pay me for talking?
Okay.
So that research led me to YouTube.
Okay.
And YouTube became everything for me from that time even to today.
Your father was in denial that he was hoping, I hope this is accurate, he was hoping you'll be an academic, an engineer, right?
Yeah, yep.
Only for you to attempt comedy, right? How long did he live in this denial that you could actually be something else other than what he hoped you would be?
I think my father stopped talking to me the day he found out my videos for 2 good weeks. He never picked up a phone and called me. Anytime I call him, he will not even answer. My name online, people call me Wode Maya. Wode Maya in Chinese simply means my mom. So I spoke to my mom and I was like, you know what, please, I really want to do this because I've done all the research. And then my mom was like, I'm going to take care of your dad for you. 2 weeks later, my dad called me back. And hence the name Wode Maya, means my mom.
Yes.
When my dad called me, he said one thing, you know, I want you to be an engineer. I mean, all the village, they know that my son is an aeronautical engineer. But then this guy is in China making YouTube videos. I mean, wants to be a comedian. You know, what kind of comedy is this? You know, and, okay, I'm a pastor's son, by the way. So the church people were also giving pressure to my dad, like, how come your son turns out to be this way? Because we want him to be an engineer. But when my dad realized that this is a passion, he's like, you know what, can I give you an idea? You live in China, you speak Chinese. Can you use the Chinese that you speak to educate Chinese people about Africa? Wow. And I took my father's advice, and it changed my life in China.
But you didn't change your name. Because let's start with, Wode Maya is your mom, right?
Yeah.
Out of respect for what she did for you.
Yeah.
So what's the Chinese name for your dad now that he didn't support you, Wode Maya? What's the Chinese name to say my dad?
My dad,
yes.
Wobaba.
Wobaba?
Yeah, Wobaba.
Hey.
So Wodeba, or you see, Wode Maya. Maya means mom. Wode means mine. Oh. So Wode Ba. So my dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
And have you visited China now after you created your brand many years later? What was your experience? Is it something, as in, do you have that relationship with China as a place you would go back to?
Of course, why not? I mean, everything that I have right now, I owe it to China because that's where it all started.
Yes.
And I can't wait to go back someday. It's just that, you know, China is there. You know, China will forever be there.
Yeah.
China is part of my story.
Okay.
But going back, I don't know when exactly. But maybe when I become ambassador to China, I'll go back to China.
So, it's okay. Thank you. One of my favorite videos, and if you can, please go check it out. It's about a village. Is it in Uganda? Where it's rumored that people eat each other. Like people eat human meat, right?
Yeah.
Now, before you set up, I love such content.
Yeah.
Before you set up to do this content, like I'd like to take you back, Kido. Like how did they consume? Like how did you hear they consume the meat? Like did they have people deep fried, wet fried, as in nyama choma? What did you hear? How do you even catch a person? Do they chase people like chicken, and then catch you? They cook you. What do they eat you with? Chapati? As in, I'd like to know. I have so many questions. As in, what did you hear before you got to do that story?
So, I went to the village to create a video about a woman who has I think, goat farm.
Yeah.
So when I was going, when people got to know that this is where I'm going, they were like, dude, you look so fat to be going to that place. If you watch the video, I started the video by saying, I look juicy, you know?
Oh,
yeah, because
yummy.
Everybody was like, yeah, dude, don't try to go to that village because, you know, you're so fat. This is the village that they're going to enjoy you, you know?
Yes.
But I didn't understand.
Yes.
Then we went
Actually, they're going to enjoy you.
Yeah, they're going to enjoy me. I didn't understand. And people are like, if you get lost, please don't ask anybody. Keep driving.
And you went.
I still went because the story of the woman was very important for me to tell because she's a former lecturer who quit to become a goat farmer.
It was a different story.
A different story, but the same village.
So, as in, alifikiria, alichora kama dem. Usiende huko utakuliwa, na akaenda bana. So
I still went.
Yes.
You see, that's what I'm telling you, risk. How many people would take that risk after hearing that? To succeed, you need to learn how to take risk. I took the risk and I went. Yeah, that's what I want to know. When I got there, the woman that we're going to interview was like, Maya, after my interview, just go back to Kampala. Because here, we have vampires, you know, we have cannibals.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm like, come on. I mean, I heard the stories before coming, and you're also saying the same thing. So I was like, you know what, I want to go and look for the vampires.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like, you definitely find them. So we started making our way there to the exact village where the vampires live or the cannibals live. And it was a bit risky. I mean, I was scared. I won't lie. I was so scared, but I have to go for the content. And we got there. We started asking questions. Everybody was scared because there's that one vampire that everyone has identified that no one gets closer. So we told them we want to see the person. And once again, it was a bit risky.
For real?
Yeah, then we
met the person?
Yeah, because the whole village, everyone was scared. They didn't want to show us the exact man. So we ended up going to the man's house. Then we got there, he's not there. It's only the wife. I'm like, even a cannibal has a wife, you know. You know?
Yes,
and
yes.
The wife also has a small baby, and I'm like, okay, where's your husband? So the husband is in the farm. But then the woman was a bit scared because I think the man went to prison, he was arrested, the cannibal was arrested, and then they later found out he was not a cannibal, and they released him. So we decided to go look for him. He was hiding on top of a mountain because he's scared that they might come for him. So we decided to also chase him on top of the mountain.
Yes.
Then we went there, found him. We gave him a little bit of space because we were all scared. And we started talking to him, realized that, nah, this is just a rumor. You know, no, it was just a rumor. So my team and I decided to, because whatever he owned that time has been taken away from him. You know, his house, he had 2 wives. When he came back from prison, people have married their wives. All the 2 wives are gone. You know, he had so he was kind of a bit successful in the village, you know. So I asked him, what can I do to bring you back to your normal, you know, the way you used to live before? And he mentioned an amount which was around $500 equivalent, so I decided to double it. Yeah. And then we doubled the amount, and then we gave him, and then we left the village back to Kampala.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So, as in, people chased him out of his house to marry his wife. Like, they accuse you of eating people, then they eat yours. So, you see, and I'm also in my head, when I play around such a concept, I'm like, when you heard the rumor, I'm sure you did some background research on how they eat people. If they did, right? Yeah. Do they have like a rule, no children, no eating anyone under 18? Like, do they have like rules, or they just meet juicy, like juicy?
I think juicy. So what people were saying that when you're passing, they just hide, and then they catch you and
they
then
grab you.
Yeah, or maybe you just got buried. They come and extract you, and then they enjoy it. I think when I wanted to go, I started doing research a little bit about it. And then it was scary because there were a lot of police people that raided that area some time ago. So we just had to go for it. I think the only thing they don't eat was the hair. Those are the videos that we saw. But when we went there, all the things everyone was saying, it seems like it was just a rumor. But, I mean, I'm not from Uganda. Probably there's more truth to that. But what I saw and what I heard from the villagers, there is no concrete story in there.
So go back to, they eat everything except the hair. So they shave you before they cook you? As in
they leave this part. They eat everything.
They eat everything?
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
Don't eat mutura in Uganda. Hey, Manze, and that's my favorite video you've done, away from the real estate projects that you've done, showing the people who've come together to put up real estate projects. I'm sure we cannot get as much as in we cannot get everything Wode Maya on one episode. Please check out his YouTube channel. He has content, loads and loads of content. Awezi maliza. So what's your favorite you story before we let you go?
Wow. So many favorite. I think the most favorite was sitting down with my mom.
You interviewed your mom?
Yeah, asking her questions about my dad, how they met. Yeah.
How far back did you go? Oh, how they met?
How they met, yeah. And it was a beautiful time talking to my mom. Yeah, I think so far that's my favorite episode. You know, because I asked a lot of questions that when I was young I was scared to ask. But then this time around I asked, and then you know, some of the questions you can't ask your mom or dad, right? You know it.
Like?
How did you meet your mom?
No, that I can ask.
Now, before.
Yeah, that I can ask.
You know, those days growing up, you see your mom frying 3 eggs for your dad. Can you ask your mom, why did you give my dad 3 eggs and you're giving me only 1? You know, those days I really wanted to get married, because the way I saw my mom treating my dad, I felt like, nah, marriage would be sweet, you know. Yeah, so those questions I started asking her on camera, and then it went so well.
You wanted to get married because of 3 eggs?
3 eggs, yeah.
Wow, the question I would have been scared to ask is along the lines of eggs, but not like that. But I trust you did not ask that one. Yeah. I trust you didn't ask that one. As a pastor's kid, too much pressure growing up, right?
Exactly.
Everybody hopes and expects you to be a saint.
Yeah, but sometimes you're not a saint.
You are the original sinners, actually.
Not really. We're actually good people. I mean,
pastor's
do you have pastor's son in the house? No one is a pastor's son in here?
No.
Wow. We're actually good people, by the way. And it's just that when you go to church, they expect to sit in front.
Wow. Very good vibes. Very, very, very good vibes. I believe hakuna kitu nimesahau kuuliza, especially one of the take homes that we really hoped to get from you is if there's hope to start from scratch, right?
Yep.
And now that you started from the village, you're a testament that it can be done.
Yep.
Right? Yep. Worst African country you visited?
West African country.
Worst.
I'll leave that for next time.
Really?
Yeah, I'll leave that
It's so bad that you can't talk about it.
Nah.
It's traumatizing.
Yeah. We'll talk about that next time.
Pole sana. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the good vibes. Wapi makofi ya Wode Maya?